Okay, thank you for quieting down. We appreciate that. You are at the Business and Leaders Luncheon, and the focus today, as you well know, is a candidate forum. And I want to let you know, my name is Lynn Snodgrass. I'm the CEO of the Best Doggone Chamber of the Pacific Northwest. I live in Sandy, and I'll introduce my mayor in just a minute to that. I want to thank our presenting sponsors, Aero Sanitary Service, Umpqua Bank, Northwest Natural, Mount Hood Community College. Thank you, Dr. Scari, for your sponsorship of this event. Gresham Barlow School District is our stakeholder sponsor, and MetroEast Community Media. The gentleman behind the curtain back there is he's recording this, and you can do a replay. You can pick this up on the table in the back as you leave the registration table and see when the replays of all of this happen. We are recording the webinar today, and it is available through their cable channels. I'd like to quickly acknowledge our board members that are in attendance. Dr. Lisa Scari, Mount Hood Community College. Lisa, where are you? Thank you for being here. And did you pay them for applause? Did you pay them? Okay. Okay, so now you have to applaud the other two board members that are here. Warner Allen of Warren Allen LLP, right there. Oh, you guys follow directions. And from Clackamas County Bank, Brian York. Brian, thank you very much. We also have some elected officials with us today. My mayor, Mayor Stan Pulliam, is in the back. Thank you, Mayor, for being here. And the city is running really well. I haven't got a speed ticket lately, but we're well policed, so that's a good thing. Councilor Janine Gladfelter did I see her come in? There she is. Hi, Janine. Thank you for being here. And Council President Sue Piazza is with us as well. So the Chamber works hard to continue to bring to you, our members, value. The Business and Leader Luncheons are one way to provide that value. Topics are always important, and the speakers will provide you with information month after month, the information that you need to hear, to process, and then to utilize in your business or as a community member. The rules today for the panel, the candidate panel, this is not a debate. I know you all wanted to have a debate. That was a joke, but this is not a debate. It's going to give each candidate a time to introduce themselves in their own words to you, and this is how it's going to work. We're going to have the state representative and Senate candidates first. They're going to come up and they have 5 minutes to introduce themselves to you, 5 minutes each. When they're done speaking one at a time, they're going to go sit down there. After all 5 of them are done, then it'll be your turn to ask them questions. And the questions need to be in the form of a question, not in the form of an opinion and lengthy pontification. So we want to get to as many questions, and then they will have 1 minute. The Senate and House candidates will have 1 minute each to respond to your questions. So the questions will hopefully be for the whole group, and then when the when the city council candidates and the Mayor of Troutdale candidate come up, we'll repeat that. They'll come up individually, they'll go and sit and wait, and then questions for those candidates. But we will take a slight break between the Senate and the House, because hopefully the food will be there, or I'm going to be returning a whole lot of money at the end of this thing. So we'll be doing that. So the candidates, we have a timekeeper. There is our timekeeper, and the timekeeper, you have 5 minutes, but she will show you how many minutes left, how many minutes left, how many minutes left, how many seconds left, and then you're done. Okay? So that's how it's going to work. And what we've done is we're going to do the candidates in numerical order, their House seat, their Senate seat, or their council seat, and also in alphabetical order. So there's no favoritism anyplace. I didn't make up the alphabet. That's how it's going to happen. So the first candidate is from House District 49, and so we're going to invite Terry Tipsord. While Terry is on his way up here, on your table, underneath some of the collateral, there is a list of all the candidates, and you can kind of follow along. So Terry, come on up. We'll get you started.
Thank you, Lynn. I am Terry Tipsord. I'm the candidate for Oregon House of Representatives, District 49. That includes Troutdale, Wood Village, Fairview, a good portion of Rockwood, some of northeast Portland, and a little bit of northeast Gresham. I moved here 43 years ago to get a master's degree. I did that. Then I moved to Troutdale. I've been in Troutdale as a resident there for 39 years, and I live there because I like it there. I tell people that I'm an Oregonian by choice, not by default. I'm also a husband and a father. I've been a business owner for 20 years, working with other small businesses. I was an advisor and instructor here at the Small Business Development Center. I did that for 8 years while I was managing my own business. I've been the director of a career training school. For 12 years, I was involved with the real estate industry as a realtor. I was an account manager for 2 title and escrow companies. I've worked with land developers, builders, worked with planning departments, both city and county level. Been a board member of several nonprofit organizations, including East County Shelter Projects. We found homes for families that didn't have a home. I worked on strategic planning teams in business and community environments, and I've been a community festival and events director, and I'm a former Troutdale Citizen of the Year. My opponent has been a teacher and a state representative. And I want to say this right up front. My opponent is not my enemy. We just disagree on what's best for Oregon. When people ask me why I'm running, I tell them that I want to see more balance and common sense in the legislation that comes to us from Salem. I think Oregonians deserve a choice between what they do have and what they could have. I want to be that choice. If you go to my website, tipsordfororegon.com, you're going to find 5 priorities there that represent concerns citizens have expressed to me. In the interest of time, I'm going to address one of those priorities. That's education, smart kids. There's a lot of studies out comparing educational systems to, across the country. Oregon's education system is 45th out of 50. In the school district where my daughter's graduated from, Reynolds School District, 78% of the students there cannot read at grade level. 85% of those students at Reynolds School District cannot do math at grade level. My opponent has been a teacher for 18 years, has taught in that school district, and has voted against reinstating graduation requirements. He's called them a meaningless hoop to jump through, and he's voted against a bill giving parents more rights in the education and the general upbringing of their kids. That's what we do have. The question is, what could we have? And here's what I think we could do. We could reinstate statewide graduation requirements. We could train teachers to better cope with the issues that they're facing in their classrooms. We could make programs that teach the basics in education a priority in funding. We could do a better job at empowering and engaging parents in the education of their kids. And we could expand career and technical education opportunities through institutions like Mount Hood Community College, which, by the way, is the #1 community college in this state. And we have the privilege of being here conducting this meeting on campus. So again, I just think that Oregonians they deserve a choice between what they do have and what they could have. I am that choice. I'm Terry Tipsord. I'm a candidate for House of Representatives, District 49. If you go to my website, tipsordfororegon.com, you can find out more about me there. With leadership today, vision for tomorrow, we can get done what needs doing. Thanks.
Have been a member of this chamber for over 15 years. I've been involved in this community in a lot of ways. Been a chair of the Planning and Development Commission, Urban Renewal, Budget Advisory Commissions. I was on the board of the Rockwood Business Coalition. Volunteered for dozens of nonprofits and donated to hundreds of churches, schools, communities through our business in this community, and care about Gresham deeply. I'm not a career politician, though. You'll get to hear from a number of them coming up in a little bit about how great of a job they did. And I really wish it was true. I'd be focused on my business and my kids, but you don't have to drive far to see the problems in our community. To see the businesses that we've lost over the years and remember the neighbors that have moved out because of affordability, to see the crime and the homelessness and the open drug use. As I drive around this community, I see it every day, and it breaks my heart. We can do better. We can definitely do better. You're going to hear about one-time grants or money that they've brought back occasionally to this community, but I see billions of dollars in tax increases over the years that have taken more money out of everybody's paycheck, out of our businesses, and we aren't seeing the results from it. And I say it's not good enough. The results aren't there. We're going to hear conversations about a one-time grant or some temporary money that came to a program in a school, and yet all of our schools are failing. We have some of the worst performing schools in the country, and our kids deserve better. They deserve great schools. We have amazing kids and families, wonderful educators in schools that care. But we have too much politics that have come into our schools. We have financial schemes that have made it difficult to finance our, community college and our other schools. We need to get back to basics, and it's about reading and writing and taking care of the next generation and investing in them in the way they deserve, and we all want to see in our community. We're going to hear that maybe there's a statistic, of, crime that maybe is better year over year, but our anecdotal experience is Fred Meyer's is locking up soap, right? Our businesses are getting broken into, our chain link fences are being cut, are being tagged, our windows are being broken. My business just 2 weeks ago has been broken into numerous times. I got a call in the middle of the night and I had to respond to what the officers respond to is a tweaker breaking into multiple properties. They arrested him, put him in the car, and expressed their frustration that they'll have to arrest him probably 6 or 7 more times before they'll be prosecuted and be able to do anything about him. And their frustration and hope that Salem and our local politics may change and prioritize public safety again and taking care of our community. And it's hard. It's hard to watch that. It's hard as a business owner to absorb that. We're going to hear about the political elite and other institutions that support the current elected officials, but I'll tell you who it's not working for. It's not working for our small businesses trying to make it every day, for our families trying to find a good education and a safe park to play in, a street to walk down. We were in Walgreens the other day and had somebody open a bag and clean out a shelf, and I don't know how to explain that to my 4 kids, that is okay in the society we live in today. So I'm here volunteering my time and my effort because we can do better. We need to do better. We all care about this community. You may even hear from the politicians that they agree the results aren't good. They agree with that. We just disagree on who's responsible. A lot of these are policies. When you travel across the country, you see that not every society and community is doing it the way we are. They have safer streets. They have lower taxes and paved roads. Their schools are performing a lot better than we are. So if you elect me, I will work across the aisle. I will stop the extremism in our capital, and I'd be honored to earn your vote. Thank you.
Okay, our next candidate is Ricki Ruiz. Ruiz. Ricki Rogers. What is it? Okay.
The Rogers works fine. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Well, I know, Lynn, I won't hold this against you. You talked about elected officials and you missed me. But I am your state representative for House District 50. And before I dive into why I'm here today, let me be clear. It is important that as a business supporting small business, we vote no on Measure 118. It's not the right choice for our economy and our communities. We need to make decisions that support Gresham and East Multnomah County, and Measure 118 does not accomplish that. I stand before you here as a father, as a member of a young Gresham family. I know the struggles and the hopes of our community because I live them every day. Gresham isn't just where I grew up, it's where I've chosen to build my life, raise my family, and dedicate my career. From being the first to graduate high school from Reynolds, to earning the degree at Warner Pacific University, my journey has been driven by one goal: to make Gresham a safer, more prosperous place for every single family. Over the years, I've seen Gresham change. I watch as places like the old Fred Meyer's in Rockwood turn into an empty lots. But the same place, I was also seen transformations like the Rockwood Market Hall, which stands as a beacon of economic hope and community pride. I've been here for all, through the tough times and the hopeful times, working to ensure that Gresham's best days are still ahead. My commitment to this community runs deep. I've co-founded the Rockwood Initiative, a youth recreation program, served as a school board member in the Reynolds School District, and secured much needed resources for local projects that directly impact families, from housing infrastructure to youth violence prevention, educational improvements. I don't just talk about change, I deliver it. My focus is what matters most to all of us, addressing our homelessness issue, fighting for affordable and mixed-use housing, youth violence prevention, and a cost of living relief. These are just not campaign promises. They are my commitments to this community. We will continue to build a Gresham where families can afford to live, where our children can grow up safe with opportunities to thrive. I am proud to have earned the local organizations endorsements like the Gresham Firefighters and the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much. Along with endorsements from leaders like current and former mayors like Mayor Travis Stovall, former Mayor Carolyn Eccles, who's here today, and former Mayor Shane Bemis. These endorsements reflect my proven record of trustworthiness and effective leadership. Together, we secured major wins for East Multnomah County. $3 million for the Gresham Barlow School Health-Based Center, which opened just last week, bringing much-needed health care to our students and our community. $7 million for East Multnomah Outreach Prevention and Intervention, directly contributing to reducing youth violence in partnership with several organizations and our local law enforcement. $3 million for housing infrastructure, and over $500,000 for the Gresham Firefighter Training Center, supporting our first responders. We also passed the Oregon Warehouse Worker Protection for fair working conditions for our warehouse workers. We expanded the Earned Income Tax Credit outreach, bringing millions back to working families in Oregon, and worked with over 50 organizations, including the Oregon Realtors, to continue the Individual Development Account Program, an opportunity to give Oregonians the savings opportunity to buy their first home, open their first business, and save up for their higher education. Mount Hope Community College is where I'm telling people to go. These are not just numbers and stories. They are tangible improvements to make the difference in our lives. Gresham residents can see the progress, but we still got more work to do. I do want to share a quote that resonates with me in my public service experience. John F. Kennedy, in a 1958 speech, said this: "Let us not seek the Democratic solution. Let us not seek the Republican solution. Let us seek the right solution." That's what we must do here. We must set aside partisanship and focus on finding the best solutions for every resident in the city of Gresham. Our work isn't done. Together, we will keep fighting for affordable housing, better education, safer streets, and a brighter future for every family in Gresham. Thank you, and let's get to work.
I appreciate being held honest. Thank you very much, Representative. And I also did not introduce. What did you do to this? I did not introduce Senator Gorsek, which is my mistake, and I did not. Carolyn wasn't here when I was introducing everybody. Former Mayor Carolyn Eccles and another board member, Karen. Yeah, Withrow, Northwest Law Enforcement. So thank you very much. So next is Senate candidate Chris Gorsek, Senate candidate 25. Chris, all the way in the back. A long applause all the way up here. There we go. Are you going to Troutdale before you get up here? There you go, Senator.
Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So I am your state senator for this district. Chris Gorsek is my name. Senate District 25 is where we are. I grew up in Southeast Portland back in the long time ago, in the 60s and early 70s. And at that time, Woodstock was a working class neighborhood. It's a little more gentrified these days, but it was definitely a place where we were safe and where our parents were taking care of us, even though we didn't have a lot. My dad was a machinist at Crown Zellerback. If you remember Crown Zellerback, it was in West Lynn, belching out all that lovely smoke from the other side of Oregon City. And I have spent much of my adult life living here in East County. So, as was said before, my district is a combination of districts 49 and 50 in the House, and that's Gresham, Troutdale, Fairview, and Wood Village. And I've been in the legislature since 2013. I'm running for re-election because we have made, I think, a lot of improvements in East County, but there's still, as has been mentioned already, there's still plenty to work on. And I'll tell you, I'm really proud to be speaking to you here at Mount Hood Community College. I taught here for over 26 years, and just recently, I was going to say graduated, but that's not right, recently retired August 31st. So I hopefully will continue to do a little part-time work at Portland State, but I taught here in geography and criminal justice. So trying to educate good, solid police officers and also trying to educate students about the world around them. So during that time, I did a lot of community outreach. We used to do Earth Day cleanups here on the campus. We, every May, would hold a vigil, candlelight vigil for Police Week. And that's done for officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. It's a national thing. Domestic violence awareness presentations, and also for 10 years, we did, in the geography side, we did the Salmon Festival at Multnomah Falls until COVID came along and kind of upended all of that. So, Lynn, I'd like to thank you for inviting us here today and for the Chamber for holding this event. I'm very excited to be here, and I'll tell you, throughout the time that I've spent in the legislature, I've had lots and lots and lots of community connections, and we have been able to help a lot of people. We try to always have an open door policy. We've done a lot of different things, like funding anti-gang activity, the East Multnomah County, it's in MOPI, East Multnomah County, I'll continue on here. The idea before was that we were only funding extra police. Now we are funding upstream to try and get kids out of gang involvement. The Gresham Vista Park area, if you know where Fred Meyer is down the hill, on the top of the hill is Gresham Vista. And we got a bill passed that put us on the even playing field in terms of strategic development, and Gresham Vista has done quite well since then. We also worked on a lot of criminal justice issues in the community. One of those was to get a bill passed to deal with catalytic converters and their theft. According to the Gresham Police, just the other day, they said that that type of theft is down 80%. We also passed another piece of legislation that I think is helping law enforcement, and that's the bill that was designed to increase penalties for street racing, where they tear up your neighborhood and make things very unpleasant for everyone. On top of that, we have a lot that we're doing in terms of transportation. If people can't get to where they work from where they live, it's a serious problem. And so I'm working right now to continue that work on the Joint Committee on Transportation. And so we want to make sure that people are safe as they drive. So thank you all very much, and I hope you have a pleasant afternoon.
And our final candidate for the first part of our program is Raymond Love. Raymond?
Hey, good morning. I'm Raymond Love. I'm running to replace Chris Gorsek, Senate District 25, which is where we are at. I'm not a politician, so I don't have my stump seats down quite yet. So I just like to talk to people. I call it like the adult learning model, right? So let's talk. You have flyers on the desk. If you could take a look at them, I think that says a lot about where we stand on the campaign. My staff and I have been out. I'm a little nervous because, I like talking to voters, and everybody here is a voter. But when you go in Rockwood, the demographics look a lot different than they do right here. When I go into Goodwill and I see I want to go to the restroom, that's kind of what got me to run for this position, actually. I was asked about it and whether or not it was a good fit for me and whether or not I wanted to run. And I really was I had a lot of reservations about it because I'm not a politician and I don't like politics generally. I think solutions tend to divide people, but problems unite people. We can all agree on what the problems are. As I listened to Chris and Ricki particularly, you would think that we are in a renaissance period and everything is going well. So I go into this Goodwill and I can't go to the restroom with my small child without getting an access code. I can't go check out because the staff is busy dealing with people who just walked out with cartloads of stuff and have no intentions of paying for it. And they just walk out the door and they tell everybody in the store to leave them alone and not get involved because of all sorts of liability reasons and all that. So we can do better. If you look at my flyer, there are reasons why we are here. The reasons why we are here are articulated very well on the flyer. There's people in this room who passed laws and rules that have led us to where we are. The great news is there's an election in 22 days. I was at another event similar to this, a candidate forum, a couple weeks ago, and I was struck by a couple of the comments that were made about how great things were. I heard it earlier today, actually, gentrification, how great gentrification is. So I came from the old Columbia Villa in North Portland. I know too well what it is. For those of you who have been around a long time, I was in the North Portland side before Union became MLK. And they turned MLK and this gentrification vision that people have as a way of displacing people like me. So I'm eating government cheese and I'm thinking, oh great, I get the free government cheese, but I'll be eating it the rest of my life if I don't figure out a way out of here. So I got out of the Columbia Villa. I came out to Gresham eventually. I yet again started over from nothing, had no customers. Now I have 3,000 customers. You get somewhere by getting a hand up, not a hand out. When they pass millions of dollars, everybody in this room, we're paying for that. So remember that when you're at the ballot box and you're saying, hey, how great things are. More money out of your pocket and back into government is usually not a winning formula. I know that personally, and I'm sure as all of you do as well. So one thing I just wanted to say, because we're in a learning environment and I love school. I think school, fixing our kids is probably something realistically we could do. So I have something and we're going to put more on the website, but it's a simple thing that would cost no money. So you guys may not support it, but putting the grade level, every year you take a test and tells you as a organization what the grading level is of a child, what the math, writing, all those tests. They're given at the state. Let's start putting that on every kid's report card. So the teacher can say whatever they want. They can give them an A, they can give them a B, but how about what is that child's actual grading level? And that will make a big difference in the engagement between parents and teachers and get the parents involved, because if you Google it, the parent in being involved in a child's education is pretty much a game changer. If the parents care, the child's going to turn out better. So I don't want to get too much into policy. I'm Raymond Love, vote RaymondLove.com. Please support us and turn out to vote. we cannot win if we do not vote. So I appreciate your time.
Raymond. Okay, it's question time. We've got 12 minutes for questions. Candidates are all going to come and line up right up there, and then you'll get to ask the question. So who has a question? Okay. Pointing. Oh, you're okay. And the questions are. I'm going to hold it to a question, and not that you would pontificate for. No. But then each one of them will have 1 minute. Okay, Carolyn.
Thank you all, first of all, for stepping up to serve our community. It's incredibly important. Each one of you identified some problems and some aspirations. I'm wondering, for each of you, how are you going to fund those? Mr. Tipsord, you talked about a lot of great initiatives for education. Mr. Love, you talked about the issue and goodwill and evidently or obviously crime related. Mr. Drechsler, you talked about crime and also extremism, stopping extremism. Mr. Representative Gorsek, you talked also about transportation and education. And Representative Ruiz, you talked about criminal justice and public safety. So I'm just curious, across the board, how are you going to accomplish those?
Okay, each of you has a minute to answer, and here's the timekeeper. Go ahead, Ricki.
Is the mic?
Yeah.
Well, I think if all of you know the history, first of all, thank you, Mayor Eccles, for the question. Here in Gresham, we have a very unique issue. The very unique issue is that we're seeing this actually transpire in how city government is funded, how police is funded, how our firefighters are funded, and that is Measure 5 and Measure 50. I think I was probably a 1-year-old when that passed. So I can't really tell you what was my stance back then. But what I can tell you is we're seeing a lot of difficulties with how that has affected cities like Gresham, how that's affected the whole state government as well. But I'll tell you this, one thing for us to continue on the right path is not voting for Measure 118, because Measure 118 is actually going to create a bigger dink in the general fund. And as an education budget chair for the last 3 months, I can tell you this, this will actually deteriorate our schools even more. So one thing we can do right now is vote no on Measure 118, but also I challenge all of you to have a deeper conversation about Measure 5 and Measure 50. Thank you.
All right, very good. Okay. So great question. Thanks for that. We have traveled around this state this past summer, we being the Joint Transportation Committee, and we've visited 12 different venues to find out the concerns of people in southeastern Oregon, northeast Oregon, all around the state. And one of the things that we have been told repeatedly is about the budget issue. One of the difficulties was that we have a gas tax that is being depleted because we have more and more hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles. So one of the things that we hope to do in the coming 25 session is that we're going to need to change up how we create those highway funds. So the gas tax is failing. We'll have to restructure it with something else. And I want everyone to pay their fair share. So that's my response. Thank you.
Well, that's a lot to answer in 1 minute, but when we come to public safety, some of this is we need to enforce the laws on the books. These are policies. This isn't just a funding issue. So the police are more than willing to arrest and do that, but their hands are being tied, and we're not prosecuting and holding that liability. When we talked about the schools, again, we're talking about politics in the classroom, and a lot of educators are frustrated. Their hands are being tied, and there's chaos and teachers quitting, and our schools suffering, again, by policy. However, we need to stop playing games with the funding. So we use a lot of temporary funds and one-time grants that we know are going away and take money out of the general fund that was going to schools and other priorities, and then are surprised that there's a budget shortfall when those temporary funds go away. Those kind of games we need to stop and really focus and prioritize on the things that matter, and not with the pet projects and other things that we're spending money on, like a lot of consulting and other things that we lose tens of millions of dollars on.
Okay, I'm glad that I'm not following Ricki, or I would be bent over double trying to reach this microphone. He stands on his tiptoes. I want to say two things. Okay, first of all, when it comes to funding programs and so forth, we have to be more focused with the stakeholders. We have to get stakeholders, people who own the outcome of what we're trying to fund. We have to get them around the table and clarify what it is that we're actually working towards. That does not happen. I can give you example after example after example of unfunded mandates that people in this room have had to deal with. The second thing I would say is that we cannot continue taxing small business, and I know businesses, I've worked with businesses who are asked to pay twice as much in taxes than what they net at the end of the year. That cannot continue to happen. So it has, whatever the answer is, it has to be dealt with in the context of conversation with people who own the outcomes of what it is we're trying to accomplish, being more specific in terms of what those outcomes are, and then managing a system for funding those outcomes more effectively, more efficiently.
So I'm not a politician, so I don't have all the terminology down, but I'll tell you kind of the simple solution. One, there's plenty of money in Salem. Don't fool yourself. There's plenty of money in Salem. So there is money that we can move from one pot to another to fund whatever we need to do. Two, I would actually agree with Rick. I won't go so far as to say I'm with Ricki, but but there is something that started way back in 2005. So if you Google it and look at how Gresham Fire and Police are funded, that's a problem that started many years ago. And if we address that and redo the money the way it's done in Medford or Hillsborough or a lot of other places, that would solve a lot of that. And then the last thing, and I'm not going to be popular with the teachers union, but we shouldn't have like a 50-50 administration to teacher ratio. It's not a sustainable business model, as I like to say. So there are cuts that can be made to reduce, and my sister is a vice principal at a high school, so it's personal for me. I know the impacts to those great Americans, but there's money there and we can find it.
Okay, good job staying on time, candidates. We've got time for a question. Here we go, Doctor.
Thank you. So as you know, Mount Hood Community College is the single largest contributor to growth, job growth and training in our region, and has educated over 1 million students in our existence. But our buildings are more than 50 years old, and we urgently need to modernize our spaces to meet the job needs of today and tomorrow. As you may have heard, we are looking at a bond possibly this spring. I'd like to know how you, as a community champion, can help us make the connection between Mount Hood Community College and a stronger, safer communities and thriving businesses.
Well, thank you, Dr. Scari, for that question. The microphone is down here because as a short person, I like to be grounded to the real issues, which is Mount Hood Community College needs improvements, and I think the bond in May is going to be a critical component that all of us should be paying attention to. As a school board member for the Reynolds School District, I got the privilege of working on the Reynolds School District bond as a volunteer. I did the Gresham Barlow School Board bond, and also as another volunteer for the Centennial School Board bonds. We're 3-0. Let's make that 4-0. I think our community, our students, our young adults, and our adults deserve a building and where they can come in, have a great quality of education, but not be worried about mold, not be worried about if a place is going to fall apart. I think the biggest component of education as well is the building that they're being taught on. So I am by all far committed to making sure this bond passes, and I will also be introducing legislation that will help community colleges like Mount Hood Community Colleges get matching funds for bonds that pass in the future. So thank you, Dr. Scari.
Well, I will say that I've lived this for over 26 years. I will also say that the college has done an amazing job keeping this place running, and facilities should be greatly applauded for that. I frequently talk about Mount Hood Community College at the Capitol. I plan to work on the bond measure as well, and it is really amazing how many people, when you're knocking on doors out here, that go, oh, that's a great place. I love Mount Hood Community College. So what we have to do is translate that into voter approval. And it's definitely something that we need to do, and especially when you consider the seismic questions about the college. It's in very, very serious need. So definitely interested in working on this, even though I'm retired.
Well, I've also had the privilege of talking to you about this issue and have been connected to this campus for a long time. My wife went to school here. I remember walking up those steps and doing some band performances in the auditorium at Barlow 30 years ago. And those steps haven't changed a whole lot since then. So I also agree that we need to support that. I don't like a lot of taxes, and you'll hear me talk a lot about the burden we're facing, but you also don't have the community you want without good schools and good infrastructure. And we all need to stand up and support Mount Hood Community College and its important place in our community for sure.
I believe that people will invest what they find value in, and I don't think people recognize the value that this institution brings to this community. Dr. Scari and I have talked at length about the number of students who graduate from this school and remain in this community. I know of business owners in this room who have 8, 9, 10, 12 employees that have graduated from technical training here in this school, now working for their business. Think about how those students contribute back into our local economy through taxes they pay, school districts, and so forth. If we could convey the value that Mount Hood Community College puts back into the community, I think people will be much more willing to invest in the future of this school. A couple weeks ago, I took a tour with Charles George, and I got to see the siding that's falling off the walls of the building. I got to look at equipment that runs one of the top swimming pools in the state, and entirely antiquated, outdated. But if we could convey the value of what this school contributes back into the community, people would be willing to invest in that. I wish I could say more, but time's up.
So to answer your question, yes, I would advocate to get more funding for Mount Hood. I went to Mount Hood, took a couple of courses here. My son goes to this school. It's a very good organization. I would remind the audience that Mr. Ruiz and Mr. Gorsek are in a position to do that. The Oregon is run by their party, and when I get there, we're going to make sure that they do not continue to raise our taxes and not perform. So we need to hold people accountable. We could start in this room, and on election day, please make a change, advocate for what you want. You're not going to get more funding. Well, you might get more taxes, but you're not going to get more funding unless you change direction.
Thank you, candidates. How about a round of applause for all of them? It was great. Super. All right, we have 4 candidate categories for the second half of the program. Troutdale Mayor, City Council position number 1, City Council position number 3, and City Council position number 5. And I want to make a couple of notices. All of the candidates have been invited. Not all of the candidates responded. That's their choice for whatever their reasons are. Zach Hudson couldn't come this morning to the event because of his job at Orient Grade School. He didn't feel he could be out of the classroom. And Timothy Yunker, who was here earlier, had to leave for a family emergency, so he is on your schedule but is not here today. So we're going to start today with the Troutdale Mayor, and same apply, 5 minutes, and then we'll have questions for all of the candidates afterwards. The difference is they only have 30 seconds because there's more of them to answer questions. So Troutdale Mayor, Geoffrey Wunn.
Well, this is a first for me, so I'll start. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor to be here today, surrounded by so many passionate and engaged members of our community. Before we dive into the issues, I just want to take a moment to recognize the incredible spirit that brings us all together, the desire to see our communities thrive. Whether you've lived here for decades or just recently put down roots, we all share a deep love for the area and belief in its potential. Today is about coming together, discussing ideas, finding common ground to ensure our communities continue to be a place we're all proud to call home. So let's get started, because together there's nothing we can't accomplish. So I'll just introduce myself. My name is Geoffrey Wunn. I am running for mayor of Troutdale. I kind of got late into the game, but I am proud to be here to hopefully represent our great city. I've lived in Troutdale for my entire life, so that's 45 years, which seems like a really long time. And I was told by my mom to not say how old I am. I graduated from Reynolds High School. I went to Mount Hood Community College for 3 years while I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up. I played baseball here, and so this place is special in my life because it helped direct me towards my passion, which is I'm a nurse. So I do, easiest way to put it, I do life flight for kids, and I work for OHSU. My family and I decided to put down roots here. My wife is from Klamath Falls, and so this is a much better place to be than there. I laugh, she doesn't. My kids are 12 and 14, and we live in the Corbett school, or go to the Corbett School District. And so I think that our education is important, and was our decision to go there. So I'll move on. Thanks for having me here today. I'm running for mayor of Troutdale because I believe in Troutdale. I believe in our people, our businesses, and our future. And together, we can build a community that is safer, stronger, and full of opportunity. So let me share my vision with you. Safety first. Nothing matters more than the safety of our families, our children, and our community. And as your mayor, as the mayor, I will prioritize public safety, and that means investing in local law enforcement, ensuring our officers have the resources and training they need to keep our neighborhoods secure. But safety is more than just about policing. It's about making sure that every resident, no matter where they live in Troutdale, has quick and reliable access to emergency services, and that includes our fire services. As our city grows, we must ensure that our fire services have the equipment, training, and staffing it needs to respond to any emergency. So I will work to strengthen our partnerships with our local fire districts or departments, improve response times, and ensure that every neighborhood has the protection it deserves. Our firefighters are heroes, and they deserve our full support in keeping us safe from fires, natural disasters, and medical emergencies. A safer Troutdale is a stronger Troutdale, and we won't stop until every family feels protected. Supporting small businesses. Troutdale thrives on the hard work and dedication of our local businesses. As mayor, I will champion the small businesses that keep our economy alive. I've heard of the many challenges owning a small business can entail, and I will work hard with all to make sure that each business can thrive in today's economy. I will ensure that Troutdale is a city where entrepreneurs can be successful. But we also must support our local shops and restaurants by encouraging residents to shop local, bringing more foot traffic into downtown, and by investing in community events and improving our streetscapes. We'll create a vibrant city where both businesses and residents can thrive. Smart, sustainable growth. Troutdale is growing, and that growth brings exciting opportunities, but it also brings challenges. We need a mayor who understands how to manage growth while preserving the character of our city. I will fight for responsible development that balances the needs of our residents, protects and enhances our natural beauty, and ensures affordable housing for all. We can grow without losing what makes Troutdale special. I also understand that Troutdale is part of a larger region, and our success depends on working closely with our neighboring communities and regional partners. By fostering strong relationships with county officials, neighboring cities, and state agencies, we can tackle shared challenges more effectively. I will actively seek out partnerships that bring more resources, opportunities, and innovative solutions to Troutdale. Thank you.
Okay, Gresham City Council seat number 1, Kayla Brown, alphabetical. Her last name is not alphabetical.
Last name Brown. Did you catch that? Okay. Okay. Hi, my name is Kayla Brown, and I am your Gresham City Council candidate for Seat 1. I am running for Gresham City Council because I am a proven leader who can represent many facets of Gresham. As a Rockwood resident, small business owner in historic downtown, commercial property owner, landlord, wife, and mother to 2 beautiful daughters who are almost 9 and 5, I understand the struggles as well as the mastery that goes into managing a full plate. My work with the Gresham Planning Commission, Historic Downtown Business Association, along with my church, give me the insight and volunteer experience needed to represent my community well. Gresham is large and diverse, full of rich culture and unique communities. Not only that, Gresham is a gateway to the city, the mountains, the gorge. Gresham touches them all, making us an essential part in someone's journey throughout our state. I want to ensure that that journey is safe and memorable, with clean streets, thriving businesses, reliable and versatile transportation, and amazing parks. Gresham has been growing rapidly pretty much since the beginning, but we have lacked the communication and collaboration from our county and state, leaving us in a constant reactive mode with our budget and infrastructure needs. The decisions that we make today will set the course for East County for the next 15 to 20 years. As someone who plans on being here for the next 15 to 20 years, raising my family and running my business, I want to be a part of impacting those decisions so that we can be proud of the city we are handing off to the next generation. The passing of the safety levy was huge and so important for our emergency services. Well-supported and well-staffed police and fire are essential in building a safe and thriving community. I will ensure that the money of that levy is allocated and spent wisely while continuing to work towards a better long-term solution that the funding that these services so desperately need. As your city councilor, I will work towards repairing trust between the city and its community members. I will do this through active participation, education, and collaboration at every level of engagement. I'm dedicated to providing resources for our community members and small business owners, to being transparent about our struggles, but also celebrating our successes together. My goal as your city councilor will be to get the city refocused with action-based solutions, particularly when it comes to our infrastructure needs. Continuing the work of the strategic plan, we need to rewrite and update our city codes so that we can simplify and streamline the process for small businesses while holding our developers and our city accountable for a thriving future and infrastructure. Gresham is large. It's very well quoted that we are the 4th largest city in the state. And I desire to see unity touch all corners of Gresham. Through cohesive design, policy, and city works, Gresham is my home, and I want to do anything I can to ensure that it stays a safe, thriving, and most importantly, a stable community for our kids and our families and our businesses. Thank you guys so much for being here today, for being a part of this process. Thank you to Mount Hood for hosting. I am also an alum of this school, and I owe a lot to this campus. And thank you to those who have put your support and endorsement in me. I look forward to serving as your future city councilor.
I do that too. Go north when you're supposed to go south. Thank you for that. Next candidate for seat 1 is Jack Hollis. Jack? Okay, Jack, come on up. It's a long walk from the back corner, but you were close to the food. Good for you.
Thinking ahead.
They were thinking ahead.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Lynn. So my name is Jack Hollis. I'm running for Gresham City Council, Seat 1. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about who I am and why I'm running for council. So I'm a mediator by trade, and I run my own mediation business in Gresham. I've been volunteering with the City of Gresham as a mediator for the last 8 years. I've served on Gresham Charter Review Committee, the Gresham Redevelopment Commission Advisory Committee, the Urban Renewal Work Group. In my time with the city, I've mediated disputes between tenants and homeowners to avoid expensive evictions. I've worked with the Gresham Police and City of Gresham to divert appropriate cases from criminal justice to mediation services. I've worked with Second Home to secure housing for unhoused teens finishing high school, including refugees from the Ukraine-Russian war. I facilitated the return of children in state care to families in Gresham with the Oregon Department of Human Services. My history and experience working with the City of Gresham shows not just my willingness to engage in difficult issues, it shows my ability to effectively work with government agencies to build a better future for our town. With the recent passing of the safety levy, Gresham residents have put a lot of trust in council to spend those funds as promised. I will ensure transparency in how those funds are spent to show our residents that the city is treating their trust with the care and respect it deserves. This levy is only a temporary fix. It gives us time to secure more permanent funding source and I'm going to make sure that time is well used. I'm already in talks with first responders about more permanent funding could look like. I intend to move quickly when elected to secure permanent funding solutions. I believe community input's vital to have a government that's truly led by its people. As elected officials, it's our duty to seek out that input and make sure that we use it to direct our actions. In my role as chair on the Gresham Redevelopment Commission Advisory Committee, I've amplified community involvement in our decision-making processes. I've ensured that not only are we seeking input from communities that are affected, but also that we're meeting people where they live and work. For government to truly be led by its residents, we need to engage with people in ways that work for them. It's not enough to put out a survey and hope people see it. We need to hold our government to higher standards of engagement, and I have both the experience and ability to make sure that Gresham meets that standard. So I've talked a little bit about my experience and the work that I've already done in Gresham. The great thing about my work in the city these past few years is that you don't have to take my word for it. This has all been done in public meetings, recorded and uploaded to the city's website. You can watch hundreds of hours of meetings with me doing just what I was talking about. This is one of the things that sets me apart from my competition. I've been doing this work for a long time. I'm not coming to you with just promises of what I will do. I'm talking about what I've already been doing for Gresham for these last 8 years. It's because of my history of getting this work done that I have endorsements from so many people within the city and state work, including several people speaking today. I'm endorsed by Senator Chris Gorsek. State Rep Zach Hudson's endorsed me. Dana Stroud from Mountain Hood Community College Board of Education endorses me. Gresham City Councilors Eddie Morales, Dina Danucci, Vince Jones-Dixon, who's now Multnomah County Commissioner-elect with District 4. I have endorsements from organizations like the Oregon League of Conservation Voters, IAFF Local 1062 Firefighters Union. These people have put their trust in me as a leader. If elected, my promise is that I'll continue to do the work I've already been doing. I'll bring realistic, actionable, and equitable solutions to the issues our city faces. My name is Jack Hollis, and I'm running for Gresham City Council, Seat 1.
Okay, City Council, seat number 3, Cathy Keathley.
Thank you, Lynn, and to the Chamber for having this event. I wanted to just introduce myself to those who don't know. I've lived in Gresham my entire life, and my parents moved to Rockwood in 1962, and I won't tell you, but you can do the math. I grew up on 202nd and Gleason, and I went to kindergarten at St. Anne's and Rockwood schools and graduated from Gresham back in the day when that was the closest high school. I met my husband Todd, who is a Centennial graduate, and we did a full circle moment when we got married at St. Anne's, and where we stayed and started our family. When I was growing up, we were like most families back then. We didn't have much, but I saw my parents quietly taking care of others who were not doing well and had even less than we did. That made a lasting impression on me. Their actions deeply influenced my values, and continue to inspire my commitment to give back to the community, something I've done my entire adult life. How have I given back? I jump in. If there's an issue that needs attention, I join or lead the effort, and I've done that same thing over the last several decades. If any of my 3 kids were involved in something, I was there. I was a Boy Scout pack leader. I ran auctions for the local soccer club and every school they attended. I ran and was elected to Gresham City Council, and I chaired the Fire Advisory Committee. The changes that were happening in Gresham in 2020 was when I really realized that we needed stronger leadership at the local level. So I ran for and was elected to the Gresham Barlow School Board in 2021. I was appointed to the most recent Gresham Charter Review Committee, and as spokesperson for Gresham United for Safety during the first few years, I was at every council meeting when public safety was discussed. I have a clear understanding of the current issues that we face today. Not only was I elected as a Gresham City Councilor, I also worked for the City of Gresham in Human Resources. That combination gives me insight into both the policy-making process and the human element behind the city services. Because I'm so familiar with the current issues and have experience in the position, it makes me uniquely qualified to advocate for solutions that not only make sense on paper, but work in practice for everyone in Gresham, which is why I'm running for City Council. Now more than ever, we need leadership that understands the complexities of city government and can bridge the gap between policy and execution. I know how to listen to diverse viewpoints, make informed decisions, and advocate for solutions that benefit all citizens because I've done it before. My experience equips me to tackle today's challenges with practical, people-centered approaches, making me ready to serve the city once again. As your next city councilor, here are my priorities because they're your priorities. Public safety. Our community is deeply concerned about safety. As a wife and mother to 2 firefighters, I understand what's needed. I have the endorsements of both the Gresham Police Officers Association and the Gresham Professional Firefighters Local 1062. They know I'm ready to lead the city in getting the resources we need to make sure our community is safe. Financial accountability. As stewards of taxpayers' dollars, the city must prioritize services that matter most to our community. Just as you have to manage your business budgets, the city must also carefully plan and allocate our resources. I'm committed to leading discussions that will create a plan for delivering essential services in the most efficient and effective way possible. Gresham United for Safety endorsed me because they know I'm the right person to lead these discussions. Economic development is at the heart of what you do every day. Gresham's future prosperity hinges on our ability to create an environment where businesses can thrive. I'm committed to supporting initiatives that attract investment, create jobs, and bolster the economic stability of our community. I have the Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce, the East Metro Association of Realtors, and the Home Builders Association of Greater Portland's endorsement. They believe in me and know I'm ready to lead Gresham today. I know what it means to listen. I know how to build consensus and take action. This spirit of collaboration is what we need right now. Leaders who will unite us, focus on common goals, and bring the community together to solve the problems we face. Together, we can create a city that works for everyone. Thank you for being here. Again, I'm ready to get to work with each and every one of you as your next Gresham City Council.
And our second candidate in this 3rd seat is Jacquenette McIntire. Hi, Jacquenette. Come on up. Got your running shoes on? There we go. You did well.
Thanks, Lynn. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jacquenette McIntire. I'm a 36-year resident of Gresham. Many of you in the room today know quite a bit about me, and I have worked with you side by side on many community issues and worked on some of your campaigns over the years. I'm an experienced community leader serving Gresham since 1995. I moved here in 1988. I'm running because my experience and my community of Gresham really matters to me. probably matters to me. I'm a former city councilor. I served 4 years on the Gresham City Council. My kids were young and I was working full time. That's a lot, as many of others have said. We carry a lot of things on our plate. But over the past 20 years, I know Gresham has changed quite a bit. It's grown, it's made progress in many areas. But funding for our growing city is the biggest challenge we all face here in Gresham. And you as business owners and chamber members understand that very well. I'm going to talk first about my priorities. As many of the other candidates today have mentioned, public safety is a huge issue in our community and in our state. For me, first of all, I want to thank the Chamber and many of you community leaders here today, business owners who stepped up and put funds towards passing our Gresham Safety Levy. That was huge for Gresham, and I just want to thank you for that, because I'm always been a public safety, police and fire supporting volunteer. So thank you very much for that. But we know the 5-year levy is a limited funding window. Gresham needs permanent solutions and that properly fund so we can hire and maintain fire and police officers for our departments. Climate action is another issue. We're really excited to see the Gresham Climate Action Plan put forward. Gresham worked diligently to work on that climate action plan, and now it's ready to be able to get funding and grants and infrastructure behind it. So that plan calls for many updates for policies, codes, and services that we anticipate our citizens will need in these extreme climate environments. Now, Oregon has had extreme weather, just like not similar to other areas in the country, but we know that heat domes in Rockwood and record snowstorms where we need snow plows in downtown Gresham is not normal. So it is the city's responsibility to work together with our community and make sure Gresham citizens are prepared for these extreme conditions in any way that we're able to help. Family housing, we've also heard about today. Affordable family housing for Gresham citizens is important to all of us. We've seen a lot of middle housing, a huge influx of plans for that in Gresham, but we need more diverse affordable housing. We need multi-generational housing for families that combine their households. We need to ensure that these new neighborhoods that are coming into Gresham have more green space and more transportation options. Senator Gorsek, we need those transportation stops to be close to the neighborhoods so they can get to work and be safe and well lit. For me, being, as I said, a citizen of Gresham for 36 years, I raised my 3 children here. I'm a grandmother of 5. I'm very proud of that. I've always been a working mom, working full-time to support my family. And my family, as is to you, our families are our everything. So I'm running again for city council because I know I've been an effective leader here in Gresham. I've served on many community levels, police advisory committee, all kinds of things. Please check out my website. But I'm ready to hit the ground running. I'm ready to get back to work for the city of Gresham. And sure, I'm 66, but you know, I have a lot of energy. I've got a lot of pep in my step, so I'm ready to go. I hope that you will consider casting your vote, and I'm asking for your vote today for Jacquenette for City Council. Thank you very much.
Okay, our last candidate is Sue Piazza for seat 5, but I also want to let you know you will be here until 1:15 because we still are going to do questions, so put that in your head. Sue Piazza?
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gresham Area Chamber of Commerce, for providing this forum today and for your endorsement for my reelection for Gresham City Council. I'm Sue Piazza, and I have been a lifelong resident of East County, born and raised out here. I went to San Barlow High School, and I can say the only college credit I have, but no, it wasn't actually college credit because I didn't complete it, but I did enroll in Mount Hood Community College. I did do class for like 4 weeks, and then I needed to go to work and make an income, so I didn't complete that, but I did enjoy my month here. Actually can remember what I learned in that class. So I have had several businesses in the area. I raised my boys. They also went to San Barlow High School. I have 10 grandchildren, of which a couple of them, if they stay in the houses they're in today, 4 of them will go to San Barlow High School. So we're generations who love Gresham, and that's why I'm here. It's not that I wanted to be a politician, it's that I love the city, I care for the people, I care for the city, and I want to see it be all that it can be. It is a great place. It's a very unique city. Our chamber is unique. When you hear people, if you ever go to a chamber meeting, you hear people that come in and visit, they're always like, wow, this was the best chamber meeting I've been to. And that's a testament to the people that live and work here in Gresham. So in the last 4 years, as your Gresham City Councilor, I've worked hard to be a consensus leader for the city. I think that's very important, especially in the times that we're in, that we need to work together. So I led the fight for our city to retain our one and only birthing center. I worked together with other representatives and senators and mayors from local towns to keep our birthing center here. It's not a fight that I wanted to do. I don't want to fight with businesses. I support our businesses. I understand bottom lines, but a great community has to have a full-service hospital, which includes a birthing center. Over the last 2 years under my leadership as council president, our city council came together to achieve what had eluded us for years. That's the successful passage of the safety levy. Under the leadership of the council, we came together. We had an unsuccessful attempt, and we went out to the people and asked why. And we came back within the year to do it again based on the feedback that we got from the people in the community. We worked together with all sorts of groups. I hate to say sides, left side, right side, the middle side, whatever. We all worked together because it's what was important for our community. And we got that levy passed. Now, granted, that's adding a tax, which I hate to do. I am all about fiscal responsibility. So because we got that passed and safety is so important, the fiscal responsibility is even more important these next few years. Tonight at council, we're going to be talking about putting together this oversight committee for this levy. And we're going to discuss how we're going to do it and what's going to be involved in that. And that is super important to make sure that your tax dollars are being spent the way that we said that they would be spent. Upcoming, we need to make sure that we can get our police and fire hired, working, funded. I don't know if all of you know, but we're in the process of having to renegotiate the fire budgets with the 3 supporting cities. So Gresham Fire supports Wood Village, Troutdale, and Fairview. But your tax dollars, you pay way more than the citizens of those towns, and I'm not going to put up for that. Sorry if you live in one of the other cities, but it's not fair to the citizens of Gresham who have been paying way more than the other citizens. We have to either come together and get this so that everybody's paying their fair share, or we need to separate. It's just not right that you have been overburdened with this problem. We also need to We also need to work on our budget within. Now, we talk about the tax dollars, but at our level, at the city level, I can't do anything about your property tax, Measure 5 and 50. That has to be done at the state level. So I encourage anybody who wins to work on this. This is super important, and I will work with our state legislators and representatives in this next 4 years to figure out how we need to redo this. My personal opinion has always been we need a different tax system for this, and I won't go into detail. A few of the things that I think we still need to accomplish are our code reform. We've started the process in that, but that needs to be done over the next few years to help our businesses that are already here and the businesses coming in have reform in what our code is. We also, as of yesterday, are bringing city employees back to work. Finally. COVID's been over for a while, but city employees have been allowed to stay home. So I continue to work on what I believe is important to everybody in the city, and I would love to have your vote again.
Thank you very much. So candidates, if you'd like to come and stand up here, we're going to go to the question period. Okay, who has a question? Burning question. Oh, Jeff, here we go.
Well, thank you for having this forum, Gresham Chamber. I've been a member of the Chamber for almost 17 years and been very active in the community. And I see that activeness emboldened by you candidates, which is great. My first question, or the question I want to ask in particular, is directed towards Troutdale, because that's where I live. So Troutdale is going to have a new mayor. And are you going to continue the course of Randy Lauer, or do you have different avenue to engage in?
Thanks for the question. I think I will say I really appreciate the direction our city is taking right now. I think I have some of my own thoughts and ideas on what I would like our city to look like. But I think, again, prioritizing safety and growth that's sustainable and beautiful is where our city needs to be. So, and I only had 30 seconds, so that was pretty good.
The question is supposed to be for everybody. You want the rest of them to answer how they're going to work for you personally?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Do any of you want to answer the relationship, or?
Restate the question for Gresham.
Okay.
Well, yeah, there's been a path that each of you have been on. You've stated some of it, Sue, and the others that I'm not as familiar with. But are you trying to keep the same course, or how would you differ from your predecessors for those who are new?
Okay, good question.
Well, I'm not new, but I'll answer. Over the last 2 years, I think that our council has really come together to work together, and I would continue that course. The course of, it doesn't matter, we all have difference of opinions. We need to work together, because being elected just means you got over 50% of the vote. But you still have another 49% plus people that you're representing. So I believe that we are on a good course in Gresham of working together and representing people as best that we can.
I absolutely agree with that. I know that trust with the City of Gresham residents has been a big concern, and it's the collaboration, it's the working together, it's going out and asking, which is the City Council did for the tax levy, so that they could rebrand that to meet the needs that the citizens stated. So it's really all about working together, listening, coming up with new ideas that we can vet to really try to solve these long-term problems that have been with us for far too long.
I do think that collaboration is incredibly important. So working with our neighboring East County cities is crucial, especially when it comes to our fire services. I will also say that I plan on doing a lot of listening and less talking to really absorb what we need to hear and how we can apply solutions to that. And I show up for things that I say yes to. So I'm committed to learning and being a part of the process.
I would agree. I think that the bones of the city of Gresham are strong. We have real good policy, and I think our job as elected officials is to make sure we live up to that policy. So when we talk about, are we going to change or are we going to stay the course, it's a little of both. We're going to stay the course that we have set and make sure that we live up to that course.
Yeah, Gresham's growing and moving forward. We've got to project and look to the future and decide what our priorities are. And I agree with Sue, what she said earlier about funding the fire department. I do believe that the future of the fire department is a fire district for East County. This is in talks with the Gresham Union and Troutdale, some people from Troutdale. That will level the playing field and have all of the 4 East County cities paying an equal share. So I believe in that as the next step.
Okay, we have a question over here, and I find it interesting that the police moved right over here by you, Bess, to keep you under control.
They want to be sure I don't steal any cars.
Those no cars theft. Okay, Bess?
Okay, I understand this is a state issue, but I want to know what your opinion is on Measure 118. And it's a two-part question, okay? What's your opinion on Measure 118, and what would you do to spur small business growth in East County?
My next dance. Well, I'm a definite no on 118. It's just not a good thing to do. We have enough taxes, but to tax a business on not profit but on sales is just bad for all of us. So definitely no on that. And Bess, what was the second part of that question?
What would you do for small businesses to grow more business in East County?
I think one of the things is helping our code. That will help small businesses come. We need to revise the code so that when someone is coming to look at Gresham as a place to be, that they don't leave before they really get started because there's so many issues they have to deal with. And I think also we are starting to do a better job at letting big businesses outside of Gresham know that we are not in Portland, we are Gresham, and we are different, because that has been a stop of getting big businesses to come to Gresham.
I don't support 118. I don't think it's a good idea to tax our businesses to give money to us. Like, I would rather, there's better ways to do things, I think. I think encouraging businesses to come to Troutdale, we've done a really good job of that over the last few years. And how you do that and how we encourage that is to make it easier for them to be there, easier for them to operate, and that is bringing the community in by events and having things and having a vibrant downtown. And that's really what we've seen making those businesses thrive.
Definitely no on 118 because it will decimate businesses, but it also will have a huge financial impact on every citizen and customer, and that's just, it's untenable. But it's also because it's from somebody outside the state, which is even more frustrating. To help businesses, I want to listen to what they need. I think that in addition to the code changes, we have to make it easier for them to understand what they're supposed to do. I've just gone through a land use process, and it was difficult because they give you all these rules, and then you're supposed to figure it out. So I think that we can be a better ombudsman to any business that's interested.
I'm also a no on 118. One thing I want to clarify, that this is a tax on gross sales, not net profit. So regardless of how much money you make, you are being taxed at 3%. And regardless of if you make $25 million or more a year, small businesses are greatly affected. Me as a small business owner, I buy from many distributors that make over $25 million a year. So I, as a small business owner, will be affected by that, and that gets passed down to my customer. And that $1,600 that you're going to be getting back is going to go right back into the services that you're buying. So it really is not an effective use of our money and time. Supporting small businesses with the city, I just want to see more collaboration between the city and small businesses when it comes to events and services. Use small business.
So as with practically everyone, there's a lot of concern about 118. I don't support it for a lot of reasons that we're not going to get into in 30 seconds. When it comes to small business growth, I think that reducing barriers to entry is going to be our biggest way to get small businesses up and running. There's a lot of different ways we can do that. I work with Gresham Redevelopment, where we do tax increment financing, which is a way to do it without raising taxes. So when we're talking about small business growth, I think that could be a good direction for us to look at first.
No on 118. for all the reasons already stated. I come from, I have a background in small business. I ran a small business out of our home and also in a small business location for 30 years. McIntire, my husband, my kid's father, was a carpenter and ran a small business as well. So I'm very familiar with that, and taxing businesses and 118 is just not for Oregons. So thank you.
All right, we have time for one more question, but what I'd rather do is thank every one of you for taking time out of your day today. You had so many other things to do that are more productive for your business, but you took your time to be here. So I'm grateful, and I know all the candidates. Candidates, would you like to applaud the audience, please? Yeah. It's very important when you've got a message to tell to have people to tell it to. And so thank you for being here. We have, I know, I'm pretty sure all the candidates, because they're going to be cleaning up all their collateral at all the tables, they'll be around so you can ask them personal questions if you have other questions to ask, or exchange phone numbers or communication so that you can then make a wiser decision when the time comes to vote. Our next Business and Leader Luncheon topic, you have to stay here. The next Business and Leader Luncheon topic is going to be about parking downtown, and we're coordinating that date on that topic, so watch the newsletter for the timing and the location of that lunch. So thank you, Aero Sanitary, Umpqua Bank, Northwest Natural, Mountain Community College, Gresham Barlow School District, MetroEast Community Media. So have a good rest of the week. Go forth and make a profit. Thank you for being here.